Well, Rusty, we back. I know
What
you
you
had
got
to
over there?
well, I got a little pen, little paper, little notes.
Hey man, you ain't never took notes in your. I went to school.
Man, I took
And I
notes.
never saw you your whole time in school ever have a notepad.
Man, I had it hidden.
And I come down here, and here you go with that notepad, man. This is kind of funny to me.
Well, let's just talk about
There's a lot of teachers going right. I didn't know, Jason, you had to read and write.
You brought it right. Yeah, you're good. He
Jason
never brought a pencil with
Yeah, he
him.
never brought a pencil to school.
That's true, Rusty. That's absolutely true. No, I had to do this right here, just kind of while I keep up, so I can remember things.
Wait, took a shot or two in the head over the
That's
years.
right. Shot it to.
But somebody asked me yesterday, so what decided to make you run for mayor? And another buddy of mine sitting there and said, well, he did take a pretty good, no, the guy said, I had a meeting with TDEC yesterday, and the guy, one of the TDEC officials said, what made you decide to run for mayor? And one of the other guys that was in the room in the meeting said, he said, did you get hit in the head or something? And the guy said, matter of fact, he did, about 3 years ago.
Yeah, you been hitting that a lot. I know.
Right?
I remember them days too.
Right?
Well, I had to, so I can't say nothing. But we're back, man. Let's get back and start on this again. You got up a while ago. I know you got a call you got had to take, and it's keeping you pretty busy. Ain't it?
You know, we do. We got a lot going on for a small town. You know, of course, anytime you change administrations and change directions in your path, there's a lot to do. And so, a couple things we got going on in Burns right now is one, a lot of people don't understand that we rent City Hall. It was sold probably 4, 5, 6 years ago. And we're paying a pretty good payment towards City Hall. So I've decided to move the City Hall part back into the old City Hall where the fire department is now. I've remodeled upstairs, we've moved the firemen upstairs, we're redoing downstairs, put the police department, Kim, and the fire chief downstairs. And it's really turned out nice, and we've done it for a really inexpensive price. So, so that's the first thing I want to do is get out of that renting situation so I can take that $3,000 a month and put it back into our budget so we can use that for a police officer or streets or whatever, that recurring budget. You know, a lot of people think you run a budget kind of like you do your house or your checkbook. With the government, it's not like that. We have to have a balanced budget July 1st every fiscal year. That's called our fiscal year starts July 1st. So, for example, once we get all of our state money and all of our sales tax money and our property tax money, everything that we get, I think this year it's about 1.3 million, what the projection was. We've got to spend exactly 1.3 million. We can't spend 1.3 and $1 or 1.2999. It's got to come out to 1.3. That's how you decide how to set your tax rate and your property tax and everything else. So that $3,000 a month is projected into that budget. So when you take that out, you can take that out and put it someplace else. Okay. And plus you got your utilities, your electric, your water, your gas, your maintenance, because we got to keep the maintenance. So all that consolidates it. And I'm hoping that will help us grow in other areas that I feel right now that we need the infrastructure parts of it. So that's one project we've been working on pretty good. I mentioned TDEC. A lot of people don't understand that we've been in default with the state over the ballpark. So I had a meeting with Representative Mary Littleton come down yesterday. She's been a huge help to me. Brought the TDEC officials, somebody from the governor's office, Daryl James and Associates Engineering. Because there were some things that the ballpark done that wasn't acceptable. And just to be honest with you, we didn't have the money to fix, to get us back in good standards over our grant. So at this time, we're in default with TDEC grant, so we can't receive any more grant money. We had a productive meeting. I think that we've come to a happy medium. There's a few things we need to do, and there's a few things they're going to forgive and work with us. And I'm hoping to have that being back in good standards by, I think we got another meeting in April. So maybe by June, July, I hope we're back in good standards with the state and can start receiving grant money and aid from the state again.
Yeah.
And you know, that's just, hey, that was a huge project. And it's just like I talked to him about yesterday. There's a lot of things at fault. No one person was at fault at that.
Yeah.
And the state was at fault. This is like I told him yesterday. At that time, when I think Jeff Bishop was mayor, when this started, 2008, probably 9, there was a $300,000 grant that turned into a $2.5, $3 million project. And when you got, at that time, Jeff's budget was probably 800,000 total budget. So, and that's what I told him yesterday, somebody at the state level should have looked at the entire project
Right.
and said, you know what, this community really can't afford what this grant calls for.
Yeah.
And, so, there's been a lot of
So that's
people.
where you're saying,
Yeah,
you know,
former
it
Mayor
ain't-
Matthews,
it ain't one
Bishop,
person.
hey, a lot of people's worked hard
Right.
to get it where it was, to try to get back in the standards. It's just like me and Darrell James was talking about yesterday. He said, you know, the idea was, well, we know it's gonna cost millions of dollars to do it. This $300,000 grant was gonna help. And Jeff's idea was, well, we'll just get volunteers. Well, it don't work like that when you're doing a grant project. Everything's gotta be built to specs, everything's gotta be engineered, everything's gotta be ADH compliant. And you really just can't have volunteers out there doing it. So there was a lot of corners, people done it with good intentions,
Yeah.
tried to go out there and help to do.
Yeah.
So there's just been a lot, and it's turned out to be a beautiful thing. It's like I told,
Yeah.
it's like I told T-Dek and the governor's office yesterday. I said, look, man, that park is used every weekend for travel ball. Kids come from all over Mid-South come to this area to play. Our middle schools use the fields. Our youth sports use the fields. Our homeschool kids use the fields. Our private school kids use the fields. Local kids. So that park has become
It's
a
getting
big
used.
access.
It's getting used.
And it is used. Yeah, so, it's just, you know, anytime somebody's trying to give you money, you really need to look at the long term,
Right.
everything. And I think the city learned a big lesson.
Yeah.
Okay? I learned a lesson. You know, I was hired in 2018 to take over the park, as the park's pretty much for that park, because at that time it wasn't usable. And, so I learned a lot about it at that time. What should have been done, how it should have been done, or maybe it shouldn't have been done at all.
Right.
But once we got into the situation, Mayor Matthews come in, tried to fix it the best he could, but like you said, you're on a limited budget, you know what I'm saying? So we put all the money we can into that park without totally bankrupting the city. And we had to sell off some property, cut our police department down. But it's turned out to be a great asset. And we're gonna continue to do it, and we're gonna get into good standards with the state of Tennessee. And it's gonna be all washed in the next year, I hope, so. And then we're gonna get more money and continue to
Right.
improve. 'Cause
Now it's going the other way now.
And now we're top of the hill, we're going the other
Right.
way. So, you know, that's a lot of things people don't know, so I think we're gonna get that worked out. We're coming up with a master plan.
Yeah.
You know, I got two things, I've sat down, had meetings with planners today, hired Amanda Harrington to just, you know, we got GNRC, they're a state, you know, they plan for everybody. But I hired Amanda Harrington just to deal with the Colesburg project. Look, Colesburg was probably annexed 35 years ago, and I live right there on the edge of Colesburg, so I get what they're saying. When you talk to people from Colesburg, they say, hey, the city ain't never done nothing for us. And I agree, we have never done nothing for them.
I mean, it's kind of been the same, you know.
You
like
know,
that for a long
it's just been
year.
like that since they annexed, well, you know, and I understand you, I hear you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if the city's ever been in position to help you financially. I don't know if it's just been a kind of a, you know, most of our city council and mayors since Charlotte have been from this area, from the old part of Burns, or the new part of Burns. Hey, look, I'm from your area, I get it. So I've hired Amanda, and I've been working with Mike Rogers and several developers and people to try to get sewer down to that area. Now, and I've told them all, once sewer comes, it's gonna change.
Yeah.
You know, so you want it, but look what you get when you get it. So we're gonna change it. We're coming up with a master plan to kind of improve the intersection of 47 and 90, Old Columbia.
Yeah, keeping the trucks out.
And the thing, well, it's fixing areas, you know, fixing lights, doing some things, widening some things, maybe putting in some sidewalks, cleaning, doing some code stuff. But it takes time.
It does.
I've learned this, and I've learned that the state and grants and government, people don't wanna deal with you unless you've got a master plan. So we're developing the zoning, what we want that area to look like in 10, 15, 20 years. We're gonna go about it right. I've listened to a lot of people, you know, and they go, hey, Rusty, you just can't go fly by your seat of your
Right.
pants.
Well, I know you talked to me several months back, you know, about you've been working on it for, you know, this takes time.
It does take time. And
You've
I'm-
been on it, you know.
I'm not that guy, I want it done today, but
Right.
I'm learning, as Mary, you gotta slow down when you're messing with government, you know what I'm saying? Like I talking to people today, like, look, we gotta look at right-of-way acquisitions.
Right.
We gotta look at
Channels.
engineering. the state wants to know exactly what you plan, but it's kinda like I've sold, and I'm trying to sell to County Mayor Ryle, City Mayor Donnie Wise, myself, the representative, Mayor Lipton. Because people kinda got a bad taste like, about that area, but one thing, it's been run down a little bit because it don't have sewer. The city's done a terrible job of enforcing the codes.
Yeah.
And I'll say it to you, I've hired a full-time codes man. I'm sure some of y'all's probably seen him around here. He's probably wrote up, I'm gonna say probably 15 to 20 violations since I took office, and probably got another 30 to 40 to go, including you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm not,
Oh, yeah.
and I've told everybody, if you're my friend, do the right things.
Yeah.
And don't be mad at me about upholding what my job is. My job when I swore in was to uphold the city ordinances and codes, and I don't know how to separate that. I don't know how to write you up because I don't know you.
Right, I mean,
Or
it's,
write you up because you're not my friend, and not write you up because you are my friend.
right, well, you
So,
can't, you know.
it's a blanket policy with me. It's black and white.
Yeah, and that's what people want, you know what I mean?
You
I
know,
mean, that's-
nobody's gonna show favoritism to nobody, and I've made it clear.
And that's fair, I mean, I agree with you totally on that, man.
So we're gonna do some things for that area, but if you look at that area, if you're at the intersection of Old Columbia and 47 Highway, and you look from above at it, if you're coming from Burns going toward Dixon, you can turn left. Within 2 or 3 minutes, you're in Industrial Park, where all of our jobs are.
Mhm.
If you go on out Old Columbia Road, you're at 46 Highway and Interstate,
Right,
right? Or you can go and not turn left, and you can turn right. You can go down Bluebird, through Eastwood subdivision, you're at Highway 70, within 2 minutes. Or you can continue on straight, and you're at Malfunction Junction, in the city of Dixon. Or you can turn around and come back this way, and you're on Highway 96,
mhm.
within minutes. That area is the center of everything.
Yeah,
Industrial Park, you got Tensco Park there, you got Industrial Park there, you got every major highway within 2 or 3 minutes of that intersection.
that's true.
You're within 5 minutes of Walmart, you're within 5 minutes of the Dixon County High School, you're within 7, 8 minutes of the Burns Middle School, you're within 7, 8 minutes of the, Dixon Middle School.
Well, man, I ain't never looked at it like
No,
that, but yeah.
most people have not ever looked at it. So it's my plan to come up with a plan.
Yeah,
To show people, show builders, show developers, show the sewer department, show the mayors, that, look, this is where we need to concentrate our development. This is where you might want an apartment complex, because, hey, if we put a sidewalk here going to Tensco Park, part of the city of Dixon, they can have an apartment, they 2 minutes from their job, maybe we can get a daycare right there, but everything's right here convenient to you.
Yeah.
Grocery store come, you gotta have rooftop to have other services. So I've got a vision for that area. And I hope to have it on paper before long. I talked to Amanda today about it, and get it to where it's virtual, and work with a
Yeah.
company where it looks like you're driving down the road and seeing a grocery store or apartment complex or R3, zoning with small, that's what I want that area for.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, put it on paperwork, but yeah.
Well, people can see it.
Yeah.
People that want to come in and invest in your community say, yeah, I see what you're saying now. You know, I can sell this piece of property with a nice structure on it, or whatever it is, and say, look, you can live here, and you got your choice of anything
Yeah,
within
anywhere you
minutes. You know, anywhere you go.
Yeah.
So,
Anywhere you go.
you know, I see it in my head, now I've got to get everybody else to see it.
Yeah,
And I understand that, and it takes time.
it does.
And the second thing I've learned is we need a downtown corridor. You can't get grant money, you can't get federal funding. Hey, the state wants to help you, federal government wants to help you to grow, and grow the right way, and to grow with nice sidewalks or bike lanes and things like that, but they wanna see a plan.
Yeah,
So I got GNRC, and we're gonna work with the old ballpark area, that we sold off a few years ago. And I'll say from 96 to Church Street, where City Hall is now, the fire department, turn right on College Street, you know, where the old school is, the gym, and back up to Herschel. And we're gonna designate that as kind of a downtown corridor, just to start out with, because that's what they wanna see. It don't look like it now, but like I said, you gotta see 15 years down the road.
right,
And we gotta get our zoning right, we gotta tell people, this is what we want in this area. Okay, we're not gonna zone this something that shouldn't be here. This is what our standards are, this is what we want in this area, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna come up with a plan for that, and hopefully get some help from the state and the county Me and Buddy Rice talked about some things, because I'd like to see that as a nice, you know, we got TriStar Bank has bought the corner right there, and they got some plans for the strip plan.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that too, I mean, I
So-
know they bought it, so I mean, that's still, they
Yeah.
still got that, there's.
Matter of fact, yeah,
Yeah,
I ain't gonna say his name, but he's texting me right now, wanting to meet next week, but to develop with that
Yeah.
area. David Baggins bought the old corner from Gum
Yeah.
Branch, and
it's got looking nice.
boy, he got looking nice,
Boy,
and you
it got
go in
looking
there, it's just unbelievable, of what he's done in that place.
It looks really nice.
So we're turning the corner right there. Now we just need to develop what we want for small businesses like 029 Pizza,
Yeah.
Mexican Restaurant.
Yeah.
We want that kind of stuff in that area. But we gotta put it on paper where everybody can see it. Now, then we gotta put standards in place to where we don't want no more growth. Like our old streets, our old infrastructure, Johnson Avenue, Johnson Street.
Right,
We wanna keep them bigger lots with nicer houses. We don't want what's happened over a few years where people come in, build 5 houses on a little lot of land, tear up the roads and leave, and our tax base will never fix that road.
yeah,
So we gotta protect our current infrastructure, because we don't have enough money to fix that infrastructure with our tax base right now, the way things are. So we gotta kinda protect that. Now, I'm for growth, but I'm for correct growth. You know, I'm for, if you wanna come buy a plot of land, you wanna put your own streets in, you wanna put your own sidewalks, build them to our standards, to where our taxpayers right now are not causing the blunt of supporting you. You know, if somebody comes in and builds a subdivision, put the streets in, put new street lights, you ought to be bringing us revenue for 15, 20 years before we have to supply you, before we put much services into you.
yeah.
It's
Makes
not kind of
sense.
been like that, you know what I'm saying? So we can build that tax base up, so when it's ready to pave the street, fix the street lights, the money's there from your tax base, not pulling from people who've been paying taxes for 50 years in Burns.
Right.
Not
Makes
take that money, you know, we need to be taking care of them people.
Absolutely.
So it's a process, you know what I'm saying? And, but we got a vision, I got a great team, you know, that's one thing Mayor Mathis had, he had great department heads in place, I've not really changed anything like that. Chief Hope, you know, I'm proud to call Chief Hope our chief of police, he just got named to the Tennessee State Board Chief Police Association. He's on the board over the whole state of Tennessee for Chief of Police. That's a great honor for our small community,
Yeah.
our size, to have a man at the state level representing us and representing all the chiefs of police in the state of Tennessee. And he's just a good man
He's a good man.
with
He is.
integrity,
Yes, sir.
with a lot of experience. So I'm blessed to get Chief Hope. I'm not out looking for a police chief. I'm not out interviewing or testing people out. I'm blessed with having Chief Hope in there. Nabob,
Well,
Nathan
the
Stringer.
Town of Burns is blessed.
Yeah, we
That's
all
for sure.
blessed, yeah, and like I said, as an administrator, and I said this when I inaugurated, there's a lot of people that's taking office right now with the November election, so, and a lot of people are making changes, they're having to go out and find fire chiefs, police chiefs, court department heads, but mine are pretty much in place. Now, I had to take my job, and I'll get into that, but then you go to Chief Stringer. Our fire department, for our size, our town is second to nobody. We have always supported our firemen. We've got a great full-time fire department, and we've got a fire chief that understands what being a small-town fire chief is.
Yeah,
If he gets a call from a little old lady on Johnson Street that needs her groceries, he's gonna go help her. That's what I want.
yeah, he's kinda got that old school.
He's got that old school mentality. He's gonna make his firemen do that.
Yeah.
If there's a kid that comes to City Hall that wants to go through a fire truck, he's gonna get them kid, turn the lights on, give it, he's gonna go help people.
Yeah.
So that's what, and he's an outstanding human being on
Yeah,
top
he
of
is,
that.
he's very good.
So,
And his guys play off of him too.
And his guys- that's right.
They know,
They
man,
do.
they kinda, they learn from, they listen to him.
They do.
And, I respect him.
They do. So we got fire chief, we got a great police chief, we got a great fire chief.
Yeah.
And I was blessed, I inherited them, you know, those here. Then we got Kim.
Yeah,
Kim was thrown into a terrible situation.
yeah,
Carol Sullivan, your stepmama, and a sister to me. My daddy hired her in 1987 when he was elected mayor.
yeah,
The day he walked into office, he hired Carol Sullivan. And, she pretty much run this town. Schott run this town until 2006.
yeah.
Okay, he was a full-time mayor. He's a full-time police chief, he was retired military. He was here every day. So, I mean, he run the things like we talked about earlier. But when Schott left, you had part-time mayors from there.
Right.
You had Jack Garton, Jeff Bishop, Landon Mathis. They had other jobs and other things.
Right.
They wasn't here. So Carol was the de facto mayor. She was the de facto
Yeah, she was there through all of it.
She was the de facto leader because you didn't have a mayor sitting up there every day when people come in complaints, so that she had to run the town.
Right.
And she did it, and she done it second to none. And unfortunately, she got sick and passed suddenly. I mean, it was, you know how it was. I mean, it broke her heart, but it hurt this town. And Kim had trained under her part-time, so Kim got all that responsibility thrown in her lap at one time.
Yes, she did.
And she has done an amazing job. Hey, nobody will ever replace Carol. You can't replace 35 years' experience overnight.
Right.
You just can't do it.
Right.
But Kim
Kim
has
does.
tried. She's done everything she can. She's learning every day. She goes to every school she can. She took all the knowledge that Carol gave her. And she has got integrity. Like I was, she's not gonna lie, she's not gonna tell the truth. She's gonna do the best job she can for the town of Burns. And there's not a better dedicated employee to the town of Burns than Kim. Hey, I get on the school bus at 6:37 every morning behind Burns City Hall. She's there most of the time, I say. And she's there at 5 o'clock, and that's not her hours, you know, that's 10, 12 hours a day that she don't get paid for.
Yeah, it was 8 o'clock, they were real.
9 to 5, really.
She's there.
And so she's always there late, she's at all my meetings, and she never complains, she never whines, she's there every day working for the town of Burns, and she's
Well, you
working
just
for the
blessed
people of
all
Burns.
around then.
Oh, that's totally blessed, man, I inherited that, you know what I'm saying? But then the couple changes I did make is I went out and hired Coach Burgess.
Yeah.
You know, Coach Burgess is my football coach here, coach and
Yes.
teacher in high school. We coached together at Burns, and he's just been a friend all my life, kind of a mentor, kind of a sounding board. He built houses, you know, he retired from
Right.
teaching years and years ago, started building houses. And I knew once I become mayor, once I decided I wanted to run for mayor, that I was gonna have to replace me, because I was the maintenance man.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna still be the maintenance man, but I knew that, you know, that somebody's gonna have to do a lot of it, a lot more of the different things. And I knew I wanted a codes inspector here 25 days a week.
Yeah.
I knew that I saw what needed to be done. And I knew that we needed somebody here. If you wanna change Burns, you need somebody making sure things are done right.
Yeah.
That people are keeping, look, I'm not a tyrant about people cleaning up after stuff.
Right.
But I also believe as a property owner, you have rights.
Right.
But I also believe as a property owner, you have no right to devalue my property if I'm your neighbor.
Right, yeah.
So if you're keeping a junk pile, if your yard is trashy, and my house goes down $25,000, $30,000 in value because I wanna sell it and I can't because you're trashy,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's not fair to me.
That's not fair. No, that's
Because you're costing me money.
right.
And when you move to a city limits or a town, you have expectations
Yeah.
that the ordinances
Well,
in the
that's
towns
that's
keep it
every
clean.
city now, that ain't just.
That's right,
I
not
mean,
just
they-
Burns.
yeah,
So,
you're not-
so I
you're
know
not
people
picking
gonna
on
get,
people.
no, I'm not picking on people,
No,
but we've never enforced it.
Right.
So I knew what needed to be done, so I needed a man to kind of take that job. And that's why I hired Coach Burgess. And I trust him, and he's done a tremendous job. He's learning on the job.
Right.
We're learning things through.
Now, would you say, now he is the maintenance guy too?
Yeah, he kind
So
of takes
he's
care of my
the
maintenance, you know, I kind of help him,
Okay.
but yeah, he's maintenance.
Yeah.
He took my maintenance and codes department over.
Okay, so
Uh,
code him, okay.
Then the one person I had to replace was the parks director, you know, and I thought about it and I went, because it's really a part-time position. I was always blessed. Didn't make much money as the parks director, it's a part-time job, $14,000 a year, something like that, I don't know. And I knew, I gotta figure this out, I'm still gonna be involved, but I need somebody that's a Burns guy. That's one thing I wanted, was Burns people the best I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chip Sullivan, he lives right across from the gym. He was been on my parks board. He's always been out there to help. He coached every sport from high school to middle school. He's the wrestling coach at Burns Middle School. And you know Chip, he raised in Burns. He's your family too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chip's gonna work hard, and it's a part-time position. So I think I put Chip in that parks director spot because I think Chip's gonna do a good job. He
Yeah,
loves
I can
Burns.
see
He's a
that.
Burns guy.
He's
He's
a
got
Burns
Burns
guy.
blood.
Yeah.
And so,
I can see
I
what
feel
you said.
comfortable with that position, that I feel too. And so then it left me with my boards, I got the planning and zoning board, and I got the BCA board. And one thing I've heard over the years around, whether you believe it or not, the people that's on the planning and zoning board should be from the city of Burns.
Yeah.
If you're making a decision on the growth and the future of Burns, you should live in Burns. You should be a resident of Burns. You know, and it's hard sometimes to get them boards filled, and you won't, so over the years, there's been people brought in from all over. So, so I took all that in consideration, and I tried to find people from every area of the city.
Yeah.
And the main person that you need on your planning and zoning board is your, chairman. You know, that guy needs to have a lot of integrity. Because you're gonna have people coming at you, you're gonna have people that needs favors, hey, I need you to push this through, I need this property zoned with this. You're gonna have developers and builders and stuff. And that guy that's running that board needs to be an independent guy that is, got a lot of integrity. And so, first thing I thought of is Seth Lyles, Dixon Police Chief,
Yeah.
lives in Colesburg, he's a Burns guy.
Fine guy, man.
You know, and so I went and talked to Seth several times. I was like, Seth, if what we're gonna do going forward has any backbone, if we're gonna have any integrity and structure going forward, I need you to be the guy to lead that planning and zoning board. And Seth agreed to it.
He agreed?
You know, he was nervous, but hey, it's a big responsibility in a town.
So he
growing
is,
and
so
stuff. So Seth's my chairman, you know, he's from that Colesburg area, and so I'm blessed. I mean, I got Jerome Holt as my police chief, then I get Seth Lyle, the police chief of Dixon, man, with a lot of integrity, he's leading my planning and zoning department. So I'm like, man, you know, I've kinda think I've hit a home run
I
out
think you
there,
have
you know what I'm saying?
It sounds like
And,
it.
and I filled it in, you know, I got Eddie Arney that lives on this part of town. He used to be on the Fairview City Council, Fairview Planning and Zoning Board. He moved in Johnson. He lives over here on, College Street now. He's been a resident for several years. He's very knowledgeable. I don't think he has any ties to builders and stuff like that. That's why I wanted my board to be independent. You know what I'm saying? Independent thinkers. And when I talked to all of them, I wanted them to know, hey, look, I'm not gonna butt into your business. I want you to do what's right for Burns. I want you to stop growth. I want you to control growth in the way we want it to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
So then I went to, and Jerry Baker, who lives in, I call it Jackson Acres, for Miss Jackson. That's why old people call it Jackson Acres, but it's East and West Circle Drive. Jerry used to be on the city council. He used to be on the planning and zoning board for years. He's a good guy, great stand-up guy, integrity. I think a lot of Jerry and put him back on there. Then Deborah Cox, Levine, lives over here on 96 across from Lonesome Park. She's got a construction background. Yeah, you built a house for her, you know, I just thought about that.
That's work for Deborah's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Fine
good,
lady.
smart, independent
Smart,
thinker.
very smart.
So, she lives right here on the city, and over there.
Right in the city,
Yeah, and, Deborah, and Chad, and, you know, one from the city council. And so then I decided to put Chad Tipple, you know, he's my vice mayor, and he lives over here on college, and Chad's a younger guy, you know, he's not a young guy, he's you know, what's Chad, probably 40 now, but he's very, you know, he's a fireman up in Nashville, he's done good for himself, he's very smart, well thought, you know, he thinks things out,
Yeah.
he got his own ideas about planning and zoning, the way he wants the city to go, and he's also my vice mayor.
You've got everybody, Burns pretty much.
Yeah, everybody,
Like-
everybody's burning people.
Well, that's-
And I've done the same
That makes
thing
sense.
with the BZA board, you know, everybody's in the city of Burns. So I think we're headed, I think we've got a good foundation.
Yeah.
You know, you're a builder, if you build a house, you gotta have a good
You gotta have a
foundation
good foundation.
with everybody that's got integrity.
Yeah,
I don't want yes men around me,
right.
you know, I want people that's independent thinkers. Now, I might not agree with what they're doing, but I trust them. You know,
Right,
it's my job as the mayor to lay the vision of Burns.
yeah.
It's my job as the CEO of this city to tell the direction I wanna go. It's their job to support me in one sense, but it's their job to make sure that we're doing things legal
Yeah.
and we're going forward the right way.